Okay, why your metal gun? Hold on, my model. Okay, it's loading now. Okay, hello everyone. We are doing the reading stream for 3 hours per usual, so I can increase my reading. Last time we were on chapter 5, I think, but I still gotta check though. I still gotta check. Oh, let me just put it on do not disturb mode, so it's stop giving me notification. Reader, nice leg. What the hell? Taku, hi! Mr. Calamity, welcome in. Soto, Mr. Soto, welcome in, welcome in. Oh, Deto as well. Yes, go claim the second one if you guys do see. And there, what else is here? I guess that's all. But thank you, thank you. Yes, but you guys can see my leg. You guys shall observe my leg today for free, chat. I don't know, I'm so nice. Oh my god, I'm giving my leg for free, gang. Giving my leg for free. Hold on. My monitor keep blinking. Let me just put the image in. Bob. Okay. Hello, the favorite fellow. You must be lying. But yeah, we are reading Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I'm gonna play YouTube in the yes, I would too, but no, it's gonna be jazz music. Per usual, I usually put the music of Project Hail Mary in because it's very interesting. I just really like doing it. It's make it more immersive. I think the Project Hail Mary have really good music in which that I actually like that. I actually appreciate that. Ooh, you were lying panels on fire, lying panels on fire. Why is my thing blinking? That's so weird. Hopefully, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, besok, I'm gonna get checked up. Mm, let me know if the music too loud. You know what? I'm trying decreasing it. Decreasing the volume in chill stream today as I read. Okay, there we go. Let's see. We are on read chapter 6. Surprisingly, we are on chapter 6. I forgot like what happened on the previous one. I think like Grace finally understanding his position. Basically, he remember his name. He haven't met Rocky. And you say 3 hours, but you were 2 hours. Sorry, depend on my mood. Reading is hard. Like I feel like reading for 2 hours is already like that bit difficult for me. But I'm trying my best. Hopefully, I can have a endurance today for 3 hours. But let's see. Hopefully, yes, yes, yes. Amaze. But okay. Chapter 6 is okay. You know what? Let's scroll down. Oh, they were experimenting with Astro Page on chapter 5. You get the reference now. Yeah, you do. You are included. You are included on the Hail Mary Club, indeed. But anyway, feel free to ask me a question about chapter 5 because I probably not remember any of it. Me when I'm being silly, but chapter 6 is okay. Okay, they are on the ship right now, the spaceship basically, and it seems like Grace is talking to the bud, but let's see. Chapter 6. Okay, if I'm going to die, it's going to have meaning. I'm going to figure out what can be done to stop astrophage. And then I'll send my answer off to Ord. Off to Ord. And then I'll die. There are a lot of avenues for painless suicide here. From overdosing on meds to reducing the oxygen until I fall asleep and die. A cheerful thought. And how did he put mustard on dry noodle? I feel like he talked about mustard, but I maybe like have a wrong memory of it. I don't know, guys. But yes, the nanny bod, as I come to call it, quickly takes my plastic cup away and replaces it with full one. It's funny. 3 days ago, those ceiling mounted arms were a mechanical monster that haunted me. No, they're just there. Part of life. I found the dormitory to be a good place for thinking. Now that the dead bodies are gone. Anyway, the lab doesn't have anywhere comfortable to relax. The control room has a nice chair, but it's cramped and has a blinking light everywhere. But the dormitory has my nice, comfortable bed I can lie back on while I think about what to do next. Plus, the bedroom is where all the food come from. Really? You eat on the bed? Like, they what? They squish it? They squish it out? Summer! Happy Pride Month, Summer! Hi, folk. Are we fixing our attention span? Yes, we are fixing our attention span by actually reading book. Wow! Applause, applause, applause. I remember a lot over the past couple of days. Looked like Project Hail Mary was a success, but here I am in another star system. Tau Ceti, I assume. It makes sense that I mistake it for the sun. Tau Ceti is very similar to the sun as Stargo, same spectral type, color, and so on. And I know why I'm here. Not just in Fagu. I don't know how to pronounce the word. Term like, oh hey, fake. Oh, it's fake. There we go. Oh hey, the world's ending. Make that not happen. Bad fairy. Mr. Axiom, may I come in? Specifically, find out why Tau said he wasn't affected by astrophage. Woo! Easy to say, hard to do. Hopefully, I remember more detail later. A million questions run through my mind. Some of the most important are 1. How do I score an entire solar system? For an information about astrophage. 2. What am I supposed to do? Question mark. Throw some of my astrophage full at Tau Ceti to see what happened. 3. How do I steer this ship anyway? 4. If I do find useful information, who do I tell Earth about it? I think that's what the Beatles are for. But how do I put data to them? How do I aim them? How do I launch them? Question mark. Oh, in the movie, they do not do like question. He just immediately know how to send Beetle. 5. Why would I, of all people, be part of this mission? Yes, I worked out a bunch of stuff about astrophage. But so what? I'm a lab coat, not an astronaut. It's not like they sent Werner von Braun into space. Well, I don't know who's dead. Surely they were more qualified people. Funny that you asked that, Grace. I decided to start small. First, I have to work out what this ship can do and how to control it. They put the crew in comas. They must have known it might mess with our mind. There has to be an instruction manual somewhere. Flying manual, I say out loud. Ship information can be found in the control room, says the nanny bod. Where? Ship information can be found in the control room. No, where in the control room can ship information be found? Ship information can be found in the control room. No spoiler. At this point, if you are here, you are getting spoiled by the book, guys. Come on. It kind of sucks. I say. I make my way up to the control room and take a good long look at the at every screen. I spend an hour in. They're cataloging what each area seems to say and make guesses as to what the function are. What I'm really looking for is something like information or here to save humanity. Press this button to learn more. No such luck. No such luck. Do I fix my monitor? I don't know. It's still blinking, but I'm calling a service person tomorrow, so hopefully they can tell me like what happened. No such luck. After hours of poking at screen, I found nothing. I guess they figured if the crew are so brain mushy that they don't remember how to use the ship. They're probably not useful as scientists anyway. I did find out that any screen can so any instrument panel. They're pretty much interchangeable. Just tap the upper left corner and a menu show up. Pick whatever panel you like. That's nice. You can customize what you're looking at, and the screen directly in front of the pilot's seat is the largest. I decide on more tactile approach. I'm gonna start pushing buttons. Hopefully, there are no blew up the ship button. I think Strat will have keep that from happening. I don't think Strat would actually like calculate that, but why would you destroy a ship though? Strat? I wonder what she's doing now. Probably in a control room somewhere with the Pope making her a cup of coffee. She was is question mark a really domineering person. But gosh darn it, I'm glad she was in charge of making the ship happen. Now that I'm aboard it and all, her attention to detail and insistence on perfection are nice to have all around me. Anyway, I bring up the scientific instrumentation panel on the main screen. It's the same panel I spent a lot of quality time with earlier. The one that currently show an image of Tau Ceti. It has the word helioscope in the upper left corner. I hadn't noticed that before. The left side of the screen has a bunch of icons, other equipment I assume. I press one at random. Tau Ceti disappear. The top left corner changed to read external collection unit. The screen showed a diagram of the featureless rectangle. There are some control here there to change the angle and to open both side and open stern side. Okay, noted. Not sure what to do with that information. I press another icon at random. This time it changed to Petrovoscope. Beyond that, there's just a black screen with an error message. Petrovoscope cannot be used while spin drive is active. I see. Slovene! Okay, what's a petrophoscope? Best guess? A telescope on an or camera that looks specifically for the ER light that astrophanes emit. It look for the Petrova line via Petrova wavelength, so it's a Petrovoscope, and we really need to stop putting Petrova in front of everything. Yeah, it's hard to read it. Come on. Why can I use it when the spin drive is active? I don't know how a spin drive works, or why is it called a spin drive, but I do know I have one in the back of the ship, and it's consuming astrophage as full. So it's my engine. It probably active it probably activate enrich astrophage to use them as a thrust. That would mean there are ridiculous amount of ER light coming out from the back of the ship right now. Like enough to focus a battleship or something. I have to do math to do. I have to do the math to know for sure, but I can't help it. I want to do the math right now. The engine consumes 6 grams of astrophage per second. Astrophage store energy as mass, so basically, the spin drive converts 6 grams of mass into pure energy every second, and it's spit out the back. Well, it's the astrophage doing the work, but whatever. I bring up the utility panel on the smaller page to my right. It has a bunch of familiar application all ready to go. One of them is a calculator. I use it to calculate the mass conversion energy of that 6 gram. God Lord. Good Lord. It's 504 540 trillion joules, and the ship is emitting that much energy every second, so it's 540 trillion watts. I can even phantom the amount of energy. It's considerably more than the surface of the sun. Literally, like you would get hit by less energy if you were on the surface of the sun than if you were standing behind the Hail Mary at full thrust. I'm decelerating right now. Have to be. The plan is to come to rest in the Tausari system. So I'm probably pointed away from the star and slowing down, having spent a really long time at near light speed during the trip. Okay, So all the light energy will hit dust particle, ions, and anything else between me and Tausadi as I plug along. This poor little particle will be brutalized, vaporized, and that scatters some ER light back at the ship. Not much compared to the engine output, but it would be blinding to the petrophoscope, which is finally tuned to look for a trace amount of that exact frequency. So, no using the petrophoscope with the engine on, but man, I would love to know if Tau Ceti has petrol line. Theoretically, any star infected with astrophage should have one, right? Hmm? The little blighters need carbon dioxide to breathe. Can't get that from the star unless you go way into the core. And I don't know if even astrophage could survive those temperatures. If I see a petrovaline, it means that Tau City has an active astrophage population at that. For some reason, hasn't grown out of control like it has everywhere else. And that line will lead to a planet that has carbon dioxide. Maybe there's some astrophage, maybe some other chemical in that atmosphere that impedes the astrophage. Maybe the planet has a weird magnetic field that messes with their ability to navigate. Maybe the planet has a bunch of moons that the astrophage physically collided with. Maybe Tau Ceti just doesn't have any planet with carbon dioxide in their atmosphere. That would suck. Blech, blech. I I I accidentally licked my lips when I saw like with that fuck, and it's like kind of awkward, but it is. It would mean this whole trip was nothing, and Earth is doomed. Oh shit! Wait till he know that what astrophage made of. I could speculate all day. Without data, it's just pure guesswork, and without the petrophoscope, I don't have data. At least not the data I want. I turn my attention to the navigation stream. Spoil this is not at this point. If you're like listening to me, you're ready for a spoiler, guys. Come on. Should I mess with it? I mean, I don't know how to fly the ship. The ship does, but I don't. If I push the wrong button, I'll be dead in the space. Actually, I would be worse than that. It'd be hurling toward Tausadi and I checked to the info screen. 7,595 kilometers per second. What? Couple days ago. And that was over 11,000. That was constantly asserting at 1.5 GS will do for you. Or decelerating, I guess. From physics standpoint, it's all the same. Point is, I'm slowing down with respect to the star. There are button on screen that just say course. That seemed reasonable to type, right? Famous last word, baby. Really, I should just wait until the commander feel like the trip is done. But I can help myself. Okay, okay. Omega Grace. Omega Grace. Why are you like so bottom? I tapped the button. The screen changed to show the Tau Ceti solar system. Tau Ceti itself sits at the center. They noted with the Greek letter tau. Oh, that's what's the lowercase t is on the Hail Mary crest. It's a tau for Tau Ceti. Okay, okay. Anyway, four planetary orbits are shown as thin white ellipses around the star. The location of the planet themselves are shown as circle with error bars. We don't have super accurate information on exoplanet. If I could figure out how to get the science instruments working, I could probably get much better info on those planet location. I'm 12 light years closer to them than astronomers on Earth. A yellow line ran almost directly into the system from off screen. It bent toward the star somewhere between the third and fourth planet into the circle. The yellow triangle on the line, way far from the fourth planet. Pretty sure that's me, and the yellow line is my course. Above the map is the text. Time to engine cutoff. 0005. D- double dot 20. I don't know how to read this. 20 double dot 39 double dot 06. The final digit decrement of once per second. Okay, I learned a couple of things here. First off, I have about 5 days left, closer to 6 before the engine cut off. Second off, the readout has 4 digits for days. That means this journey like at least 1000 days over 3 years. Will take like 12 years to make this trip. So it should take me a long time too. Alright, relativity. I have no idea how much time it took, or rather, I have no idea how much time I experienced. When you get going near the speed of light, you experience time dilation. More time will have gone by on Earth than I have experienced when I had left Earth. Relativity is weird. Time is of the essence here, and unfortunately, while I slept, Earth experienced at least 13 years. And even if I find a solution to the astrophage problem right now, it would take at least 13 years for that information to get back to Earth. So that means there's an absolute minimum of 26 years of astrophage mystery on Earth. I can only hope they are coming up with a way to deal with it or at least ameliorate the damage. I mean, they wouldn't have sent the Hail Mary out at all if they didn't think they could survive at least 26 years, right? In any event, the trip took at least 3 years. From my point of view is that why we were put in comas. Was there a problem with us or was just being awake? For the duration, I only noticed the tear when the first of them dropped off my face. The decision to put us in coma killed two close friends of mine. They're gone. I don't remember a single moment with either of them, but the feeling of loss is overwhelming. I'll be joining them soon. There's no way home. I'll die out here too. But unlike them, I'll die alone. I wipe my eyes and try to think other thing. My whole species is at stake here. Judging by the path of the map, the ships will automatically put me in stable orbit around Tau Ceti, between the third and fourth planet. Sorry, my clock is responding to me. The distance of the Earth is from the Sun, a nice safe distance from the star, a slow orbit that take about a year to complete, probably longer because Tau Ceti is smaller than the Sun. Yes, go away, my clock. Are you betting money after you crying? Okay, I have 5 days to kill until engine cut off. Rather than mess around with stuff, I'll just wait it out. Once the engine are off, I'll fire up the petrophoscope and see what out there. Until then, I'll try to learn as much about the ship as I can. I'll do just about anything right now to keep from thinking about Yao and Ilyukina. Technically, the carrier was named People Liberation Army Nafigansu. Why their navy has an army in a name I'll never know. Regardless of people stopped calling it that and started calling it Stratfad. Despite objection from the sailors aboard, the name stuck. We wandered around the South China Sea, never get too close to the land. Pre-ordering your cry at minus 21. 2011. Maybe you'll get lucky. I spent a blissful week doing nothing but science. No meeting, no distraction, just experimentation and engineering. I forgotten how much it's fun it is to get the immersion in the task. My first breeder prototype, oh okay, had to demonstrate another successful run. It wasn't to look at, it wasn't much to look at. Mostly a 30-foot long metal pipe with a bunch of ugly control equipment welded on here and there. But it did the trick. It could only generate a few microgram of astrophages per hour, but the concept was solid. I had a staff of 12 people, engineers from all over the world. A couple of Mongolian brothers were my bass engineer. When I got a call from Strut to meet her in the conference room, I left them in charge. Oh, brass! Raz, I think I see you stream before, but was it? Are you like streaming Forza? Mianians, hello, welcome, guys, welcome, guys. If you guys would like to follow a cute dog boy that really into space, go follow Raz, guys. Welcome. We are reading we are doing a Hail Mary reading. I'm trying to finish the book. We are on part 3. This is chapter 6 currently. Thank you for the hydrate. I shall drink right now. The space. I I just love the fact of doing I just love the idea of reading Project Hail Mary with the music on the background. I just like it, and I think Project Hail Mary is the best movie that I watched this year for now. I don't know. Maybe something will replace it, but for now, like literally obsessed with Project Hail Mary, despite not actually knowing about anything counting mad real exactly. It's so fucking good, and I just like the characterization of Grace. Of Grace just doesn't give a shit about anything else, and water especially, and his beef with water. I just love it. But anyway, thank you for coming here. Thank you everyone. Thank you Mianin for coming here as well. Thank you Res for reading me. We shall continue with the reading. We are on chapter 6. So Grace was mourning. Basically, he was mourning about his two crewmate that dies, and he's trying to about Yao and Yukina, and he's trying to basically right now he's trying to figure out how to breed astrophages for some reason, like on the ship, I guess. I don't know, like we will know after we keep reading this. My first breeder prototype has demonstrated another successful run. It wasn't much to look at. Mostly a 30-foot long metal pipe with a bunch of ugly control equipment welded on here and there, but it did a trick. It could only generate a few microgram of astrophage per hour, but its concept was solid. It's breeding astrophage, right? On the ship or something. I don't fucking know. I had a staff of 12 people, engineers from all over the world. A couple of Mongolian brother were my best engineers. When I got a call from Strut to meet her in the conference room, I left them in charge. I found her alone in the meeting room. The table was strewn with paper and chart, like always. Graph and diagram adorned all the wall. Some new, some old. Strut sat on the end of the long table with bottle of Dutch gin and low bulk. Girl, you are drinking. I never seen her drink before. Yeah, exactly. Exactly my reaction, Grace. Burn it to breathe. Yeah, he's breathing astrophage. It, wait, maybe. Oh, this happened. Oh, this happened before on the ship. Never mind. This happened before on the ship. Wait until he found out what human are made of. So true, bestie. I think that's the thing about Grace, right? He's being with water. He's thinking like not all species of like being need water. Why you guys thinking about it? And then well, he actually one of the species that made from water like 90%, but he's still beaving about it. So you look up. No. She said this first. You wanted to see me. I said. She looked up. Her eyes had back. She hadn't slept. Yeah, have a seat. I sat in the chair next to her. You look terrible. What's going on? Okay, I don't know which one is Strut, which one is Grace, though. Sorry. I have to make a decision, and it's not easy. How can I help? They offered me the gin. I shook my head. She topped off her own glass. The Helmer is going to have a very small crew compartment, about 125 cubic, I think it's cubic meters. I cocked my head. That's actually kind of big as a spaceship go, right? She wiggled her hand back and forth. Big for a capsule like Soyuz or Orion, but tiny for a space station. It's about 1/10 as big as the International Space Station crew compartment. Okay, I said. What's the problem? The problem. She picked up a manila folder, drop it in front of me. Is that the crew will kill off each other. Oof. Huh? I opened the folder. Inside were a lot of typewritten pages. Actually, they were scan of type pages. Some were in English, some in Russian. What is all this? Sorry, burp. During the space race, the Soviets briefly set their sight on Mars. They figured if they put people on Mars, the US moon landing would be trivial in comparison. I closed the folder. The Cyrillic writing was nonsense to me, but my guess was Strat could read it. She always seemed to know whatever language was being used. Multilingual? She rested her chin on her hand. Getting to Mars with 1970 as technology would mean using a Hoffman transfer trajectory, which meant the crew would have to spend just over the 8 months aboard the ship. So the Soviet tasted out what happened when you put people together in a cramped, isolated environment for several months. And after 71 days, the men inside were getting first fight every day. They stopped their sprint on day 94 because one of the subjects tried to stop another of to that with broken glass. Brother, that's on you to give them glass from the first place. How big will the crew be for the mission? The current plan is three. She said. Okay, I said. So you're worried what happened when we sent three astronauts on a 4-year trip in a 125 cubic meter compartment? It's not just about them getting along. Each crew member would spend the whole trip knowing that they're going to die in a few years, and that few room on that ship are the only word they will know for the rest of their short life. The psychiatrist I talked to say crossing depression is likely, and suicide is real risk. Yeah, that is some rough psychology, I said. But what else can we do? She picked up a staple of sheaf of paper, slid it toward me. I pick it up and read the title. A study of long-term primate and human coma patient and detrimental after effect. Srishuk et al. Okay, what am I looking at here? There's a study by a failed company in Thailand. She swirled the gin in her glass. Their idea was to put cancer patient to induce coma for their chemotherapy treatment. The patient get the chemo but doesn't have to be awake to suffer through the process. Wake them up when the cancer goes into remission. Or when it's no longer treatable, it's time for hop spice. Either way, they skip a lot of misery. That sounds like a great idea, I said. Synod, it would be if it wasn't so little. Lethal. No, it's lethal. There we go. Not lethal. Lethal. Turn out the human body just isn't supposed to be in coma for a long time. Camel last month, and often need additional run after that. They tried first mean for medically induced coma on the primate, and the primate either died during the coma or came out of it with a mush for brain. So why are we talking about it? Because they did more study this time on historical human coma patient data. They look at humans who had come through long coma relatively unscathed and tried to see what they had in common. They found it. Old Russian space agency documents were a mystery to me, but scientific paper were my forte for a long time. I flipped through the paper and skimmed through the finding. Gene marker. I said, yeah, they said they found a collection of genes that give a human coma resistant. That's what they're calling it. The sequence are what the scientists used to think was junk DNA. But apparently, it's something we evolved a long time ago for some unknown reason and still lurk in some people's genetic code. Are they sure this gene cause coma resistant? I said. They correlate, but do they cause it? Yes, they sure. The gene are found in lower primates too. Whatever it is, it goes way back in the evolutionary tree. There's speculation it might go all the way back to our aquatic ancestor that used to hibernate. In any event, they run tests on primate with those genes and they survive long coma with no side effects. Every single one of them. Okay, I see where you're going with this. I put the paper down. Do DNA tests of all applicants and use only the people who have those coma resistant gene during the trip. Put the crew in comas. They don't have to experience 4 years of getting on each other's nerve or introspection about their dad. She raised her glass to me. It get better. Having the crew in coma make the food situation much easier. Powdered, nutritional, balanced, slurry pumped right into their stomachs. Oh my god. Eh, no need for 1,000 kilograms of diverse meal. Just powder and self-contained water the recycling cycle. Why are they feeding these people like fucking protein? Like soy? Are they getting fed soy? Is it why Grace not having like muscle like atrophy? Is that what happened? There are a couple of catches. She said, first off, we have to develop a completely automated monitoring action system to take care of the coma patient. If it broke down, everyone will die. And there's more to it than just monitoring vitals and pushing the right drug through an IV. It would have it would have to physically move and clean the patient, deal with batcher, diagnose tasks. Oh, so the robot, the nanny robot, invest on the various IV, prop entry point, stuff like that. Okay, but that seemed like something global medical community would could work for us. I said, use your strat magic to boss them around or something. She took another sip. That's not the main problem. The main problem is this. On average, only one in every 7,000 humans has that genetic sequence. I sat back in my chair. Ooh, yeah. We wouldn't be able to send the most qualified people. We'd be sending the 7,000 most qualified people. 3,500 most qualified people on a search, I said. She rolled her eye. Still, cute. Ah, man, I wish I have masculine voice. Okay, masculine voice time. Still, I said 1/7,000 of the world population and a million people. Think of it that way. You have a pool of 1 million people to look through a candidate. All you need are three. Six, she said. We need primary crew. Backup crew can have the mission fail because some guy get hit by car crossing the street day before lunch. Okay, then six. Yeah, six people of astronaut caliber, but have scientific skill necessary to work out what's going on in the astrophyte Tau City and who are willing to go on suicide mission. Damn it, bud. Sorry, my clock kept talking to me. She fell silent, took another sip of gin. Okay, I'm not changing my voice. Cleared off my throat. So you either take your chance with picking the best possible candidate, maybe they kill each other, or you take your chance on yet to be developed medical technology to automatically care for lower tier of talent. More or less. Either way, it's terrible risk. It's the hardest decision I ever had to make. Huh? She raised her eyebrow. Sure. I said. We just want someone to tell you what you already know. If you leave the crew awake, there's nothing you can do but psychosis risk. But got year to perfect to be automated bad technology. She scolded a bit, but didn't speak. I softened my voice. Beside, we are the asking those people to die. We shouldn't ask them to suffer emotional torment for 4 years too. Science and morality both give the same answer here, and you know it. She nodded, almost imperceptibly, then sit down the rest of her gin. All right, you can go. She set her laptop over and began typing. I left without another word. She has her stuff to deal with, and I had mine. The memories. There we go. The memories are coming back more smoothly now. I still can't remember everything, but it's no longer an epiphany when they happen. It's just sort of, oh hey, I know that. Always knew it really. I guess I'm the one of the people with coma resistant. That explains why I'm here. Is it of any of the far more qualified candidate that should have been sent? Oh, poor Grace. But Yao and Ilyukina probably had those genes too. But they didn't make it. My guess is the medical robot wasn't perfect. They must have had some medical situation arise it couldn't figure out. It shake off their memory. The next several days are exercise and patience. I learn more about the ship to distract myself. I catalog the entire lab. One of the first things I find is a touchscreen computer in a pull-out drawer in the center table. It's actually a fantastic find because it has a bunch of research-related screen as opposed to the panel in the control room, which are all about the ship or its instrument. I see a bunch of math and science app, and most of which are off the shelf that I'm familiar with. But the real boon is the library. As far as I can tell, this panel can bring up literally any scientific textbook ever written, every scientific paper ever published on any topic, and a whole lot more. There's one directory just called Library of Congress. It appeared to be the entire digital catalog of everything that ever been copyrighted in the United States. No books about the Hail Mary, unfortunately. And the reference manual, so many reference manual, data on top of data with data in between. I guess they figured solid state hard drive are light, so there were no reason to be stingy with information. Heck, they may have just burned data into ROMs. They gave me reference material on stuff that can't possibly be useful. But hey, it's nice to know that if I need average rectal temperature is a healthy gold, I can find it at what are you talking about? Is 103.4 Fahrenheit or 39.7 Celsius. Playing with the panel leads to next discovery. I know who I'll report back to Earth with the Beatles. I know they be involved, but no I know specifics. In addition to the absurd data storage arrived aboard the ship, the panel also has four comparatively small external drive mounted. John, Paul, George, and Ringo, each one of those so 5 terabytes free. It's not a huge leap to assume that's the Beetle data. So how do I launch them when the time comes? To find out, I head to the control room. I have to dig through a few layer UI on the Beetle panel to find the launch command. But I find it. As far as I can tell, it's just a button labeled launch. I guess they orient themselves based on star and head toward Earth on their own. The Helmer did the same thing to get here, so they know how to do it. No reason to introduce human error in the course selection. While I'm here, I poke around a scientific instrumentation screen. The first three sub windows are the helioscope, the vitrophorescope, and the telescope that can see in the visible spectrum, ER spectrum, and a bunch of other bands. I play with the visible light scope. Where the PVP, the VIP redeem, is it not there? I think I might like take you off a bit because like I was like really busy, but I can like put it on again. Do you want to redeem VIP? I think like I take out like a lot of redeem because like I feel like I cannot fulfill it for this month because like I've been busy. But I'll put it on. I'll put it back on again. There we go. I play with the visible light telescope. It's kind of fun. I can look at the star. I mean, there's nothing else out there. Even Tau Ceti planet would just be little dots from where I am. But it's still nice to see the outside from confined little world. The stock VIP was full. Nah, I just like temporarily take it out because like I feel like I shouldn't like over stuff for something that I can do, basically. But and like VIP like was one of it. But the more that I think about it, I guess it's easy to just give VIP. I also found a dedicated Eva screen. It has more or less what I would have expected. There are a bunch of control for the Eva suite itself. So an operator in the control room can manage any issue with the suite during an EVA. That way, the person in the suite doesn't have to deal with it. Plus, it looked like the ship has complicated tethering system on the hull. Basically, a bunch of track that the tether hook can run along. They really figured an evac would be important, probably to collect local astrophage, if there is any. If Tau City has better of a line, then there are astrophage to be collected. Getting a hold of some would be step one, getting that down to the lab and seeing if it differs from the astrophage on Earth. Maybe it's a less virulent strain. The next 2 days are basically me worrying about what happened next. Oh, I know what happened next. I'm just worrying about it anyway. Okay. Okay, overthinker. I fidget in the control room. Watch the second tick away. We're going to be in 0G, I say. You are not going to be failing. We will not be in danger. The acceleration of the ship will stop, but that's okay. I don't like roller coaster or water slide. That dropping sensation scares the pants off me. And in few seconds, I'm going to feel that exact sensation because the gravity I've been experiencing will stop altogether. The second tick off. 4, 3, 2. Here we go. I said 1, 0. Right on schedule. The engine shut off. The 1.5G I've been feeling all this time vanished. Gravity gone. I panicked. No amount of mental preparation would have worked. I straight up panicked. I scream and flail around. I force myself to crawl into fetal position. It's comforting and keep me from hitting my controller screen. I shiver and shake as I float around the control room. I should have strapped myself to the chair, but I didn't so. But I didn't think to. Dummy! I'm not falling, I scream! I'm not falling, this is just space. Everything is fine. It's not fine. I feel my stomach in my throat. I'm going to puke. Puking 0G is not okay. I don't have a bag. I severely underprepared for this. I was stupid to think I could just talk myself out of the prime fear. I pulled the collar of my jumpsuit open and tilted my head down. I'm just in the nick of time. I puke out an entire of day 9 meal tree into my shirt. I hold the collar tight to my chest afterward. It's disgusting, but contained, better than letting it float around, controlling, becoming a choking hazard. Ew! Oh gosh, I whimper, aghast this it. Can I do this? Will I be rendered completely worthless from this point on? Will humanity die because I can handle 0G? No. I clench my teeth. I clench my fist. I clench my butt. I clench every part of me that I know how to clench. Okay, kinky. It gave me a feeling of control. I'm doing something but aggressively doing nothing. After an eternity, panic began to ebb away. Human brain are amazing thing. We can get used to just about anything. I'm making the adjustment. The slight reduction of fear has feedback effect. I know I will get less afraid now. And knowing that make the fear subside even faster. Soon the panic dies down to fear, which diffuse into general anxiousness. I look around the control room, nothing feel right, nothing changed, but no, there's no down. I still feel sick to my stomach, grab my collar in case I need to puke again, but isn't necessarily. I hold it in. The feeling of warm vomit squishing between my chest. Jumpsuit is disgusting. I need to change. I aim myself at the hatchway leading to the lab, kick off the bulkhead behind me. I float down into the lab. The whole room is cluttered with random floating debris I lefting out of the table when I catalog them. Now all that stuff is wandering around freely, wafted along with the current from the life support air friend. Dummy, I say to myself. I really should have seen that coming. I continue onward to the bathroom. Not surprisingly, it's also got a junk floating everywhere. I opened most of the bean in the storage area to see what was inside. Now the beans and their content drift and fro. Clean me! I say to the arm. The arm didn't do anything. I stripped down and used the jumpsuit to wipe the gross stuff from my body. I found the sponge bath zone a few days ago. Just a sandwich sponge that come out of the wall. No room for a shower, I guess. Anyway, I clean up with that stuff. I'm not sure what to do with the gross, dirty stuff. Laundry? I say. The arm reached down and take a dirty jumpsuit from my hand. A panel in the ceiling opened and they put it in there somewhere. What happened when that filled up? No idea. I found a replacement jumpsuit in the float Sam and put it on. Putting on clothes in 0G is interesting. I wouldn't say it's harder, but it's different. I do manage to get a new jumpsuit on. It's a little tight. I checked the name pads. It's a in kanji. I cannot read that. It's one of Yao jumpsuit. Well, it's not too tight, but I don't want to bounce around the bedroom all day looking for one of mine. I'll organize it all later. For now, I'm too excited to see what out there. I mean, come on. I'm the first human to explore another star system, and I'm here. I lunge off the floor toward the hatchway. I miss you. No, 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 that's not it. No, let me repeat that. I lunge out. The. I lunge off the floor toward the hatchway and miss. I crash into the ceiling. At least I get my arm up in time to protect my face. I bounce off the ceiling back to the floor. Ow! I mumble. I try again, this time a little more slowly, and I'm successful. I coast up through the lab into the control room. Getting around sure is a lot easier when there's no gravity. I still feel squeezy, but I have to admit, this is pretty fun. How is my stomach feeling now? I shit myself, so it feels pretty okay. The spicy food algan. Then I pull myself into the pilot chair, strap myself into to keep from floating away. The navigation screen read "Pira- primary transit complete. The spin draft screen say trust 0. But most importantly, the Petrovas scope screen says ready. I rub my hand together. Then reach for the screen. The interface is simple enough. The corner has an icon that is toggle switch with two state, visible and Petrova. Is currently set to visible. The rest of the screens run invisible light P from the ship. Seem like an ordinary camera. I poke at the screen and quickly realize I can pan, zoom in or out, rotate, and so on. All I see is far in the distance. I guess I should pan around until I found Tausari. I swap my finger, laugh, laugh, dot, 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 just generally trying to say where the star is. I don't have frame of reference to work with. Every few left swipe, I throw in a down swipe just to cover all angles over time. I do finally find Tauseri, but it doesn't look like it should. A few days ago, when I look at it with the helioscope, it looked like any other star. Burp. But now, a solid black circle with a hazy ring of light around it. I realized why it immediately. But the petrophoscope is pretty sensitive piece of equipment. It's fine-tuned to spot even the smallest amount of the Petrova wavelength. The star will give up an absolutely obscene amount of the light at all wavelength. It'd be like staring at the sun with binoculars. The equipment has to protect itself from the star. It probably has physical metal plate that it keep between its sensor and the star at all time. I'm looking at the back of the plate. Good design. I reach up to toggle switch. This is it. Is there no Petrova line here? I don't know what to do. I mean, I'll try to figure out something, but I'll be kind of lost. I flip the toggle. The star disappear. The hazy ring surrounding Tau Ceti remains. That's to be expected. It's the star corona, which will be emitting plenty of light, so some of it bound to be the Petrova wavelength. I shoot the image desperately, nothing at first, but then I see it, a beautiful dark red arch coming out of the bottom left portion of Tau Ceti. I clap my hand. Yes! The shape is unmistakable. It's a Petrova line. Tau City has a picture of a line. I do wiggly little dance in my chair. It's not easy in 0G, but I gave it my all. No, we're getting somewhere. There are so many experiments I'll need to do. I don't even know where to begin with. I should see where the line lead. For starters, one of the planet, obviously, but which one and what interesting about it? And I should get a sample of local astrophage to see if it's the same as what we back on Earth. I could do that by flying into the Petrova line itself and then scrapping the deuce of the hole with an EVA. Ooh, lunchtime! What you eating? I feel like you're working for 11 hours. That's pretty long time to work, Taco. I could spend a week just reading up the list of experiments I want to do. I spot a flash on the screen, just a quick blip of light. What's that? I say. Another clue? The flash happened again. I pan and zoom in on that portion of space. It's nowhere near of the Petrova line or Tau Ceti. Maybe a reflection from a planet or asteroid. I can see how that might happen. A highly reflective asteroid could be bouncing enough light from Tau Ceti around. Did I see it on the picture of a scope? But it's intermittent. So maybe it's an irregular shape that's rotating and the flash become a solid light source. It's just on now. Non-stop. I peer at the screen. What was going on here? The light source become brighter, not instantly, just gradually over time. I watched for a minute. It seemed to get brighter faster now. It is an object headed toward me. An instant hypothesis popped into my mind. Maybe astrophages are somehow attracted to other astrophages. Maybe some subset of them saw the flare from my engine, which would be the wavelength they use, and they headed toward me. Maybe this is how they find the main migrations group. So this could be a clump of astrophages headed my way, thinking I can lead them to the planet with carbon dioxide. Interesting theory. Nothing to back it up, though. Dough or something? I don't know. The steady light grow brighter, 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 and then finally disappear. Huh? I say. I wait a few minutes, but light does not return. Hmm. I make a mental note of the anomaly. Anyway, it's coming. I'm gonna go take a piece. Tea break. Oh shit, my phone. Bum 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 boom boom boom. Oh, buddy, come in for a second. Okay. Welcome back from that. I'll continue. Drink water. Drink water. Yeah. Okay, that's Howard drop. It's gone for now. Back to the Petrova line. The first thing I want to do is find out which planet that line leads to. Because I have to work out how to navigate the ship, but that's another challenge. I pan back to look at the Petrova line. Something wrong now. Half of it just gone. It's coming out of Tau City, just like it was a few minutes ago. But then it stopped abruptly at seemingly arbitrary point in the space. What is going on? Did I mess up with their migration pattern maybe? And it, sorry, I burp. If it's that easy, wouldn't we have worked that out when Hail Mary was wandering around eh, our own solar system? That's just the wrong song. That's the wrong song. Wait, let me. You need to put it on loop. I zoom in and the cutoff point is just a straight line. Like someone took an X-Acto knife to the whole picture of a line and threw away the scrap. A giant line of migrating astrophages doesn't just disappear. I have a simpler explanation. There's something on the camera lens. Some blob of debris. Maybe you read of an excitable astrophage. That would be nice. I have to sample to look at right away. Maybe a visible light view will give me a better idea of what's going on. I press the toggle button, and that's when I see it. There is an object blocking my view of the Petrova line. It's right next to my ship, maybe a few hundred meters away. It's roughly triangle shaped, and it has a gable like protrusion along its hull. Yes, I said hull. It's not an asteroid. The lines are too smooth, too straight. This object was made, fabricated, constructed, shaped like that don't occur in nature. It's a ship. Another ship. There's another ship in this system with me. Those flashes of light, those very its engine. It's astrophase powered, just like the Hail Mary, but the design, the shape, it's nothing like any spacecraft I ever seen. The whole thing, it's made of huge flat surface. The worst possible way to make a pressure vessel. No one in the right mind would make ship that shape. No one on Earth would anyway. I blink a few times at what I'm seeing. I gulp. This is an alien spacecraft. Made by aliens. Aliens intelligent enough to make a spacecraft. Humanity isn't alone in the universe, and I just met our neighbors. Holy fucking shit! Oh, stop swearing. You are swearing. That's bad. Capture 7. Holy shit, did they finally meet Rocky? I'm so excited. This is what I've been waiting for. Okay, so we're on Capture 7. We are only reading 135 pages out of 523. God save me. And it been like the stream, like the third stream that I did it. And we're gonna keep going. We're gonna we're gonna boost that mental. We're gonna boost that focus. Neurodivergent bisa-bisa. Chapter 7. A flood of tall hit me all the same time. We're not alone. This is an alien. That ship is weird. How does the engineering of that work? Do they live here? Is this their star? Am I starting an interplanetary incident by wandering into alien territory? Exclamation mark. Breathe. I tell myself. Okay, one thing at a time. What if this is another ship from Earth? One I don't remember. Heck, it took me a few days to remember my name. Maybe Earth sent multiple ships with different design, like for redundancy or to increase the odds that at least one of them work. Maybe that ship is the priest Allah or blessing of Vishnu or something. What the? I look all around to the control room. There are screen and control for everything, but there is nothing for a radio. The EVA panel has some radio control, but that's obviously just for talking to crewmate when they're outside. If they send multiple ships, surely they would have had some radio system so we could talk to each other. Also, that ship is insane. I cycled through the navigation console screen until I found the radar panel. I noticed it earlier, but didn't think much of it. I assume it's there so I can get near asteroid or other object and not collide with them. Another few After a few halting attempts, I managed to turn it on. It immediately spot the other ship and sound an alarm. The shrill noise hurt my ear. Whoa, whoa, whoa! I said. I frantically scanned the panel until I see a button label Mute Proximity Alert. I press it and the noise stopped. I scanned the rest of the screen. There are a lot of data here, all in a window titled Bleep A. I guess if there were multiple contacts, I'll get multiple windows. Whatever. It's all just raw numbers about the reading. Nothing useful like an isometric Star Trek scan or something. Velocity is zero. They have matches my velocity exactly. That can be a coincidence. Range is 217 meters. I'm assuming that the distance to the closest part of the ship, or maybe the average, no, it would be the closest part. The point of this system is probably to avoid collision. Speaking of collision, 270 meters is a ridiculously small distance compared to the size of solar system. There's no way this is a coincidence. That ship is positioned itself here on purpose because I am here. Another reading, angular wide, is 35.44 degree. Okay, some basic math should handle this. I bring up the utility panel on the main screen and launch the calculator app. Something 217 meters away is occupying 35.44 degree of the view. Presuming the radar can see in all 360 degree, it would be pretty cruddy radar if I couldn't. I type some number into the calculator to do an arctan operation and the ship is 139 meters long roughly. I bring the astrophage panel up on another screen. The little map there showed the Hail Mary is just 47 meters long. So yeah, the alien ship is 3 times the size of mine. There's just no way Earth sent something that big. Axels, 5 stream streak, let's fucking go. And the shape. What is up with that shape? I turned my attention back to the Petrovoscope, which is now just acting as a camera. The center of the ship is diamond shaped, a rhombus. Well, I guess it's an octahedron. Really, look like look like it has 8 faces. It's triangular. That pylon is about the size of my ship. The diamond is connected by 3 thick rods. I don't know what else to call them. 2 wide trapezoidal bays that look like it might be the rear. And in front of the diamond is a narrow stalk, just making a term at this point, that has 4 flat panels attached parallel to main ship axis. Maybe solar panel? The stalk continues forward, a pyramid shaped nose cone. Nose pyramid, I guess. Every part of the hull is flat. Even the rod have flat faces. Why would anyone do that? flat panels are a terrible idea. I don't know anything about who made this, but presumably they need some kind of atmosphere inside, right? Huge flat panels are awful at that. Maybe this is just a probe and not an actual ship. Maybe there's no atmosphere inside because there's nothing alive inside. I may be looking at an alien artifacts instead of a ship. Still the most exciting moment in human history. So it's astrophage powered that was steady Petrova frequency glow I saw earlier. Interesting that they have the same propulsion stage as we do. But considering it's the best energy storage medium possible, that's not a surprise. When European mariner fires came across Asian mariner, no one was surprised they bought used sail. But the why, that's what get me. Some entity aboard either a computer or a crew decided to come to my ship. How did they even know I was here? Same way I saw them. I guess the massive ER light coming off my engine. And the signs the rear of my ship was pointed at Tau Ceti that mean I was shining a 540 trillion watt flashlight in their direction. Depending on where they were at the time, I might have appeared even brighter than Tau Ceti itself, at least in the Petrova frequency. So they can see the Petrova frequency, so can I. I flipped through the spin drive console screen until I found one labeled manual control. When I select it, a warning dialog pops up. Oh, Sarah, welcome in! 733, let's fucking go! Manual control is recommended only for emergency. Are you sure yes you want to enter manual control mode? I tap yes. I bring up another dialog. Second confirmation. Type EAS to enter manual control mode. I groan and type EAS. The panel finally take me to the manual control screen. It's a bit scary, not because it's complex, but because it's so simple. There are three sliders labeled Drive 1, Drive 2, and Drive 3. It's presently at 0. The top of each slider is labeled at 10, 7, N, and the N must mean newtons in a unit of force. I guess if I threw all three drive to maximum, it would give me 30 million newtons. That's about 60 times the thrust of jumbo engine, jet engine produced during takeoff. Science teacher know a lot of random facts. There are a bunch of more little sliders in group labeled yaw, pitch, and roll. There must be a little spin drive on the side of the ship to adjust its orientation. I can definitely see why it's bad idea to mess with this panel. One screw up and I'll put the ship into spin that tear it apart. But at least they took of that. There's a button in the middle of the screen labeled zero all rotation. Good. I checked the Petrova scope again. Believe A hasn't moved. It's on my port side and slightly forward. I flicked the Petrova scope back to Petrova frequency mode and the screen turned mostly black. As before, I can see the Petrova line in the background, occluded by bleep A. Let's see if you have anything to say. I mumble. Spin Drive 2 is in the center of the ship. Its thrust will be along my central axis. Hopefully, you won't introduce altitude change. We'll see. I set it to 0.1% power up for 1 second. Then back to 0. Even with just one engine, at 1 and 1000 power, for 1 second, the ship drift a bit. The velocity value for bleep A on the radar panel shows 0.086 ms. The tiny thrust set my ship moving about 8 centimeter per second. But I don't care about that. I care about the other ship. I watch the Petrova scope. A bat of sweat separates from my forehead and float away. I feel like my heart is going beat out from my chest. Then the rear of the ship light up in the Petrova frequency for 1 second, just like I did. Whoa! I flicked the drive on and off several times. Three short brush, a long one, and one more short one. There's no message there. I just want to see what they do with it. They were more prepared this time. Within a second, the other ship repeat the pattern. I gasp and smile. Then I winch, then I smile again. This is a lot to take in. Oh, they're communicating. This was too fast for any props to respond. If it had a remote control or something, the controller would have to be at least a few light minutes away. There's just nothing around here that could be housing them. Yes, there is. There's another ship in the solar system, but we don't know what ship it is. We're trying to find it out. Fun fact, they are sending they use the same field. They use astrophage, in which is really interesting to read. There is an intelligent life form aboard that ship. I am about 200 meters away from an honest to God alien. Oh my gosh, this is it. First contact. I'm the guy. I'm the guy who meet alien for the first time. The Bleep A, that's what I'm calling the ship for now, fires up an engine again briefly. I watch closely to memorize the sequence, but it's just a single low intensity light. There's no signaling. They're maneuvering. Very informative. Thank you, Mello. I checked the radar panel. Sure enough, the Bleed A bring itself alongside the Hail Mary. Hold position at 217 meters. I flipped through the scientific panel to bring normal telescopic camera back up. The petroscope normal light camera is just to orienting for the main scope itself. The telescope has much better resolution and clarity. I guess I'm too excited to think clearly because it took me until now to think of it. The image is far more. The image is far clearer. Ah, through the main telescope. I guess it's just an insanely high resolution camera, but I can still zoom in and out with no loss of clarity. I have very good view of the bleep A now. The shape holds in molted gray and tan. The patterns seem random and smooth, like someone start mixing paint but stop way too early. I spot motion in the corner of the screen, an irregular shaped object slide along the track in the hull. It's a stalk sticking up with five articulated arms coming out to the top. Each arm has a clamp-like hand on the end. It's only now that I notice a network of track all along the hull. It's a robot, something controlled from the inside. At least I assume it is. It doesn't look like a little green man, and certainly doesn't look like an alien Eva suit. Not that I have any idea what either of those things would look like. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that a hull mounted robot, space station back at Earth, have them. They're a nice way to do stuff outside your ship without having to suit up. The robot works its way along the hull until it reaches the spot closest to the Hail Mary. One of its little climb and hold a cylindrical object. I don't really have a sense of scale, but the robot is tiny compared to the ship. I feel like it's about the size or maybe smaller. But that's a wild guess. The robot stopped, reached toward my ship, gently released the cylinder into space. The cylinder moved slowly toward me. It has a slight rotation, end over end. No perfect. Not perfect, but it's still a very smooth release. I checked the radar panel. The bleep A is at velocity 0. And there's a bleep B screen now. It shows that it's much smaller cylinder approaching at 8.6 centimeter per second. Interesting. Just the exact same velocity I moved the Hail Mary a moment ago with flashing the engine to say hi. That can be a coincidence. They want me to have that cylinders and they want to deliver it to me at the velocity they know I'm comfortable working with. Very considerate of you, I say. These are smart alien. I have to assume friendly intent at this point. I mean, they're going out their way to say hi and be accommodating. Besides, if there is hostile intent, what would I do about it? Die? That's what I do. I'm a scientist, not Buck Rogers. Well, I mean, I guess I could point the spin drive at their ship, fire them up to full, which will vaporize, you know what. I'm just not going to think along those lines right now. Some quick math tell me the cylinder will take over 40 minutes to reach me. I have that long to get in an EVA suit. go outside and position myself on the hull for humanity first touchdown, pass reception with an alien quarterback. I learned a lot about the airlock when I was giving my crewmate a burial in space, and Liukina would have loved this moment. She would have been absolutely bouncing around the cabin with excitement. Yao would have been stoic and steady, but he would have cracked a smile when he thought we weren't looking. The tear in my vision, lacking gravity, they caught my eyes, is like trying to see underwater. I wipe them off and fling them across the control room. They splatter onto the opposite wall. I don't have time for this. I have an alien thingy to catch. I unhook the belt on the chair, float over the airlock. My mind is a whirl with ideas and question. And I'm jumping too wild. I'm founded conclusion left and right. Maybe this intelligent alien species invented astrophage. Maybe they genetically engineered it specifically to grow spaceship full, the ultimate in solar power. Maybe once I explain what happening to Earth, they have a solution. Or maybe they board my ship and lay egg in my brain. You can never be sure. I open the inner airlock door and pull out the Eva suit. So do I have any idea how to get into this thing or how to safely use it? I disable I disable the chrysalis lock of the Orlan MKS to Eva suit and open the rear hatch. I actively I activate main power by flicking a switch on the belt. The switch boot up almost immediately, and the status panel attached to the chassis component read all system functional. What the heck? I knew everything that's going on here. We were probably trained on its thing extensively. I know the same way I know physics is there in my mind, but I don't remember learning. The Russian made suit is a single pressure vessel, unlike American model where you put the top and bottom on the bunch of complete complex stuff on the helmet and the glove. The Orlan series is basically an 1C with a hatch in the back. You step into it, close the hatch, and you're done. It's like an ins it's like an insect molting in reverse. I open the back and wriggle into the suit. Zero G is the real boon here. I don't have to fight with the suit nearly as much as I normally would. Weird. I know this is easier than other time I done it, but don't remember any other time I done it. I think I have brain damage from that coma. I'm functionally enough for now. I press on. I get my arm and leg into the respective hole. The jumpsuit is comfortable enough, uncomfortable in the Orlan. I supposed to be wearing special undergarment. I even know what it's look like, but it's just for temperature regulation and monitoring. I don't have time to find it in the storage area. I have a date with a cylinder. No, in the suit, I push steadily against the airlock wall. My leg to push the open rear flap to the wall. Once it gets to within a few inches, centimeter, I should say, this is Russian made after all. A light turned green on the SAS mounted status panel. I reach up the panel with my thickly gloved hand and press the auto seal button. The switch rushed the opening closed with surge of loud click. With a final clunk, the outer seal locked into places. My status board read green, and I have 7 hours of life support available. Internal pressure is 400 hectopascal, about 40% of Earth atmosphere at sea level. That's normal for spacesuit. The whole process took only 5 minutes. I'm ready to go outside. Interesting. I didn't have to go through the compression step. One space station back home, astronauts have to spend hours in an airlock slowly acclimating to the low pressure needed for Eva suit before they can go out. I don't have the problem apparently. The entire helmet is that 40% pressure. Good design. The only reason space stations around Earth have a full atmosphere of pressure is in case the astronauts have to board and return to Earth in a hurry. But for the Hail Mary crew, where would we go? May as well use the low pressure all the time, make things easier on the whole, and let you do rapid evas. I take a deep breath and let it out. A soft wind comes from somewhere behind me, and a cool air flow along my back and shoulders. Air conditioning. It feels nice. I grab a handhold, spin myself around. I pull the inner airlock door close, then rotate the primary lever to begin the cycling sequence. A pump fire up. It's louder than I would have thought. I sound like an idling motorcycle. I keep my hand on the lever. Pushing it back to the original position will cancel the cycle and repressurize. If I see even a hint of red light on my suit panel, I'm going to throw that lever so fast it make my head spin. After a minute, the pump grew quieter. The quieter still, it probably as loud as it ever was. But with the air leaving the chamber, there's no way for the nose to get to me other than through my feet touching me, the fulcrum pads on the floor. Finally, the pump stopped. I'm in total silence aside from the fans inside the suit. The airlock controls show that the pressure inside is zero, and a yellow light turned green. I'm clear to open the outer door. I grab the hatch crank, then hesitate. What am I doing? I say. Is this really good idea? I want that cylinder so badly I'm just blowing ahead without any sort of plan. Is this worth risking my life over? Yes, unequivocally. That's a new word. Okay, but is it worth risking the life everyone on Earth over? Because if I mess up and die out there, then the whole Hail Mary project will have been in vain. Hmm. Yes, it's still worth it. Worth it. I don't know what these aliens are like, what they want, or what they planning to say, but they will have information. Any information, even stuff I rather not know, is better than known. I spin the handle, open the door. The empty blackness of space lies beyond. The light of Tau Ceti glisten off the door. I peek my head out and see Tau Ceti with my own eyes. At this distance, at this distance, is a little less bright than the sun as seen from Earth. Oh, Proxy, welcome in 52. Let's fucking go. We are reading Project Hail Mary today. I double check my tether to make a darn sure I'm attached. Then I step out into the space. I'm good at this. I must have practiced a lot, maybe in neutral buoyancy tank or something, but it comes as a second nature to me. I exit the airlock and clamp one of my tethers to a rail on the outside hull. Always have two tethers and always have at least one attached. That way you never risk of floating away from the ship. The Orlan MK S2 is possibly the best EVA unit ever made. Burp. Mm. But it doesn't have a saver unit like NASA AMU suite or something. At least with the saver unit, you have a minimal thrust capability to return to the ship if you fall adrift. Okie dokie. All the information flooded into my mind at once. I guess I put a lot of time and thought into the spacesuit. Maybe I'm or crew EVA specialist. I don't know. I flip up to the sun visors, appear toward a blip A. I wish I could glean some special insight by seeing it in person, but it's pretty far away. The Hail Mary telescope gave me a much better view. Still, there's something unique about staring directly at an alien spacecraft. I catch a gleam of the cylinder. Every now and then the flat end of the gently tumbling cylinder reflects light. How light. I decided tau light is a word. By the way, light from Tau Ceti is not sunlight. Tau Ceti isn't the sun. So tau light. Okay, well, okay. I still have a good 20 minutes before the cylinder reached the ship. I watched it for a while to guess where it hid. It'd be nice to have crewmate inside at the radar station. It'd be nice to have a crewmate at all. After 5 minutes, I have a good bead on the cylinder. It heatedly for roughly to the center of the ship. It's as good as a place as any for alien to aim for. I make my way across the hull. The Hail Mary is pretty big. My little pressurized area is only half its length, and the back half flares out to be 3 times as wide. Most of that will be empty now, I guess. It used to be a full astrophage for my one-way trip here. The hull is crisscrossed with rail and latch point for EVA tethering. Tether by tether, rail by rail, I make my way toward the center of the ship. I have to step over a thick ring. It circled the crew compartment area of the ship. It's a good 2 feet thick. I don't know what is it, but it must be pretty heavy. Mass is everything when it comes to spaceship design, so it must be important. I speculate about that later. I continue along, one whole latch point at a time, until I'm roughly in the center of the hole. The cylinder creeps closer. I adjust my position a tad to keep up with it. After an excruciatingly long wait, it's almost within reach. I wait. No need to get greedy. If I pow at it too early, I might knock it off course and into space. I have no way of recovering it. I don't want to look dumb in front of an alien. Duh. Okay, Grace. Because they're surely watching me right now. Probably counting my lips, noting my size, figuring out what part they should eat first. Whatever. Kinky, I let the cylinder get closer and closer. It moving less than 1 mile per hour. Not exactly a bullet pass. Know that it's so close I can estimate its size. It's not big at all, about the size and the shape of a coffee can. It's a dual gray color with splotches, a slightly darker gray randomly here and there, similar to a bleep a hull, kind of. Different color but the same blotchiness. Maybe it's a stylistic thing. Random splotches are in the season or something. Okay. The cylinder flowed into my arm. I grab it with both hands. It has less mass than I expected. It's probably hollow. Its container, there's something inside they want me to see. I hold the cylinder under one arm and use the other to deal with tatters. I hurry back to the airlock. It's a stupid thing to do. There's no reason to hurry, and it literally endanger my life. One slip up, and I be off in space, but I just can't wait. I get back into the ship, cycle to airlock, and float into the control room with my prize in hand. I open the Orlan suit, already thinking about what tests I'll run on the cylinder. I have a whole lab to work with. The smell hit me immediately. I gasp and cough. The cylinder is bad. No, not bad. It smells bad. I can barely breathe. This chemical smell is familiar. What is it? What is it? Cat pee? Ammonia, it's ammonia. Ew, what the fuck? Okay, I wheeze. Okay, I think my gut instinct is to close the suit again, but they would just trap me in a small volume with ammonia that already in here. Better to let the cylinder air out in large volume of the ship. Ammonia isn't toxic, at least not in small quantity, and the fact that I can still breathe out all tell me it's a small quantity. If it weren't, my lung would be caustic burn. I'd be unconscious or dead now. As it is, they're just a bad smell. I can handle a bad smell. I climb out of the back of the suit while the cylinder float in the middle of the console room. Now that is not shock anymore. I can handle the ammonia. It's no worse than using a bunch of Windex in small room. Unpleasant, but not dangerous. I grab the cylinder and it's hot as heck. I yelp and pull my hand away. I blow on them for a moment and check for a burn. It wasn't too bad. Not stove top hot, but hot. Grabbing it with my bare hand was stupid. Flawed logic. I assumed that since I'd been holding it earlier, it was okay to do. Now, but earlier, I had a very thick spacesuit glove protecting my hand. You've been a bad alien soldier. I say to it, you need a timeout. I pull my arm into my sleeve and rub my hand in the cuff. I use my no protected knuckle to nudge the cylinders into the airlock. Once it in, I close the door. I let it be for now. It cooled down to ambient air temperature eventually, and while it does, I don't want it to floating randomly around my ship. I don't think there's anything in the airlock that can get hurt by some heat. How hot was it? Well, I had put pen on it like an idiot for a fraction of a second. My own reaction time was enough to keep me from getting burned. So it's probably less than 100 degrees Celsius. I opened and closed my hand a few times. They don't hurt anymore, but the memory of the pain lingers. Where the heat come from? I mumble. The cylinder was out in space for a good 40 minutes. Over that time, it should have radiated heat with via black body radiation. It should be cold, not hot. I'm about 1 AU from Tau Ceti, and Tau Ceti has half the luminosity of the sun. So I don't think the tall light could have heated the cylinder up much. Definitely not more than black body radiation would cool it down. I don't get it. What was the mean? So either it has the heater inside or it was extremely hot when it started its trip. I guess I'll find out soon enough. It's not very heavy, so it probably thin. If there's no internal heat source, it cool off very fast in the air here. The room still smell like ammonia. Yuck. I float down to the lab. I don't know where to begin. I saw so many things I want to do. Maybe I should start by just identifying the material of the cylinder is made of. Something harmless to the bleep A crew might be incredibly toxic to me. Neither of us would know it. Maybe I should check for radiation. I drift down to the lab table and put out a hand to steady myself. I'm getting better at zero G thing. I think I remember seeing an astronaut documentary saying some people handle it fine, while others really struggle. Look like I'm one of the lucky one. I'm using lucky loosely here. I'm on a suicide mission, so yeah. 4 degrees, I guess. The lab is a mystery. It has been for a while. It clearly set up with the idea that there be graffiti. It has table, chair, taste tube, test tube, trays, and etc. There's none of the usual stuff you would expect to see in a weightless environment. No fur curl on the walls, no computer screen at all angles, no efficient use of the space. Everything assumed there will be a floor. The ship can accelerate just fine. For a good long time, too. It had me at 1.5 G for probably a year, but they can expect me to just leave the engine on and fly in circles to keep gravity in the lab, right? I look around at each piece of lab equipment and try to relax my mind. There has to be a reason of this. And it's in my memory somewhere. The trick is to think about what I want to know, but not stress about it too much. It's like falling asleep, but you can really do it if you concentrate on it too hard. Is that why I have problem falling asleep? So many top of the line piece equipment. I let my mind wander as I scan across them all. Ooh, we're on Capture 8. Capture 7 is pretty short, huh? It only took me like 30 minutes to read it. Okay, drink water time. Honestly, I think I would like to end the stream there, but let me see like how long is aid capture aid? Very long. More than 10 page. You know what capture I might read capture aid then. I'll read capture aid and then end the stream then. It was very long. Okay. Let me drink. Stretch. Oh my god, I drink a lot of water today. I mean, which that's good. That's good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Everyone should drink water. Capture 8. By the time we reached Geneva, I completely lost track of what day it was. The computer model for the astrophage breeder weren't lining up with the real world performance. So I had managed to breed up almost 6 grams of astrophage so far. When all was said and done, the aircraft carrier reactor just could generate enough heat to speed up the reaction any further. Strap kid Fagu, fake vaguely. Okay. Shrug kept vaguely saying they were going to provide a heat source capable of keeping up, but nothing had come of it yet. I type away on my computer even as the luxury private jet come to a halt at the gate. Shrug had to nudge me to make me stop working at all. 3 hours later. Sorry, I'm burping. Not burping. We waited in a conference room. Always a conference room. My life was a collection of conference room this day. This one was nicer than most, at least with a fancy wood paneling and stylish mahogany table. It was really something. Trud and I didn't talk. I worked on heat transfer rate coefficient while she typed away on her laptop doing gosh know what. We spent enough time together as it was. Finally, a door locking woman entered the room and sat across from Strat. Thank you for seeing me, Mrs. Strat, she said with a Norwegian accent. Sorry, I cannot do a Norwegian accent, guys. No need to thank me, Dr. Logan, she said. I'm here against my will. I look up from my laptop. I'm gonna use that word now. You are? I thought you scheduled this. She didn't take her eyes off the Norwegian. I scheduled it because I had 6 different world leaders on the phone at the same time nagging me to do it. I finally relented. And you are? Logan asked me. Rylan Grace. She actually backed away. The Ryland Great, the author of the analysis of water-based assumption and recalculation of expectation for evolutionary models. You got problem with that? I said. Strap half smiled at me. You're famous. Infamous, said Loken. His childish paper was a slap on the face to the entire scientific community. These main words for you. Absurd! All his assumptions about alien life were proven wrong. Ice cold. Hey, my climate's life doesn't need water to evolve just because we found some life that doesn't use water. That doesn't mean I'm wrong. Of course it does. Two life are independently evolved to require water. Independently? I snort. Are you out of your mind? Do you honestly think something as complicated as mitochondria would evolve the same way twice? This is obviously a panspermia even. She waved off my statement as if it was an annoying insect. Oh, shoo, shoo, shoo. Astrophage mitochondria is very different from Earth mitochondria. They clearly fall separately. Separately. They're 98% identical. Said Shot. I don't really get what you're fighting about, but can we? I pointed at Logan. This idiot think astrophage evolved independently, but it's obvious astrophage and Earth life are related. That's fascinating, but Logan slapped the table. How cool the common ancestor have gotten across interstellar space. The same way as her face does it. She leaned toward me. Why haven't we seen interstellar life all along? I leaned toward her. No idea. Maybe it was fluke. How do you even explain difference in mitochondria? 4 billion years of divergent evolution. Stop! Strut said calmly. Stop. Okay, not stop. It's stop. I don't know what this is. Some sort of science related pissing contest? That's not what we're here for, Mr. Dr. Grace. Dr. Logan, please sat down. I plopped into my seat, folded my arm. Logan sat as well. Strut fiddled with the pen. Dr. Logan. You've been hassling out government to hassle me. Over and over, day in, day out. I know you want to be involved in Project Hail Mary, but I want to make it huge international mess. We don't have time for the politicking and kingdom building that always happen on big projects. I'm not happy to be here either. Logan said, I'm here at a great inconvenience to me as well as you. Because this was the only way to tell a critical design flaw in Hail Mary. Start side. We sent off the preliminary design of general feedback. No comment appearance in Geneva. Then follow this under general feedback. Could have been an email. You would delete it. You have to listen to me, Start. This is important. Start to read the pen around a few more time. While I'm here, go ahead. Logan cleared her throat. Correct me if I'm wrong, but entire purpose of the Hail Mary is to be laboratory. One we can send to Tau Ceti to see why that star and that star line is immune to astrophage. That's right, she nodded. Then would you also agree that the lab aboard the ship itself is the most important component? Yes, Strut said. Without it, the mission is meaningless. Then we have a serious problem. Logan pulled several sheets of paper from her purse. I have a list of the lab equipment you want aboard. Spectrometers, DNA sequencer, microscope, chemistry lab glassware. I'm aware of the list. Strut said. I was the one who signed not off on it. Logan dropped the paper on the table. Most of this stuff won't work in 0G. Strut rolled her eyes. Ah, we thought of that. Of course, company all over the world are working on 0G related version of this equipment as we speak. Logan shook her head. Do you have any idea how research and development went into making electron microscope, gas chromatograph, everything else on this list? A century of scientific advance by failure after failure. You want just to assume that making these things 0G functional is going to work on the first try? I don't see any way to do it, as you invented an artificial gravity. We have invented artificial gravity, Locan insisted. A long time ago. Strats shoot me a shock. Strats shoot me a look. Obviously, they had caught her off guard. I think she meant a centrifuge, I said. I know Siemens centrifuge, Strats said, but what do you think? Hadn't thought about it before. I guess it could work. Strats shook her head. No, that won't fly. We have to keep things simple. As simple as possible. Big solid shape, minimal moving part. The more complication we have, the more point or failure we risk. It's worth the risk, said Loken. We have to add a huge counterweight to the Hail Mary to even make that work. Strut pursed her lips. I'm sorry, but we barely have enough energy to make astrophage for current mass limit. We can't just double it. Wait, we have enough energy to make all the fuel? When did that happen? I said. We don't need to add mass, Logan said. She pulled another paper from her purse, slapped it down on the table. If you take the current design, cut it in half between the crew compartment and the fuel tank, the two sides will have a good mass ratio for centrifuge. Strad peered at the diagram. You put all the fuel on the same side, and that's 2 million kilogram. No, I shook my head. I shook my head. The fuel would be gone. They would look at me. It's a suicide mission, I said. The fuel will be gone when they got to Slough City. Locan pick a split point where the back of the ship will weigh 3 times as much as the front. It's a good mass ratio for centrifuge. It could work. Thank you, said Logan. How do you catch ship in halves? Asked Strut. How does it become centrifuge? Logan flip Logan flipped a diagram over to reveal detailed image showing a fairing between the two ship halves, a spool of Xylon cabling between the crew compartment and the rest of the ship. We could simulate 1G of gravity with 100 meters of separation. Strut pinched her chin. Had someone actually changed her mind or something? I don't like complexity, she said. I don't like risk. This removes complexity and risk, Locan said. The ship, the crew, the astrophage, it's all just super system for the lab equipment. You need reliable equipment. Stuff that's been in use for years with millions of man hours of commercial use. Every imaginable kink has been worked out of the system. If you have 1 g of gravity to make sure they be in the environment they were perfected for. You get benefit of all that reliability. Hmm, said Shud. Grace your towel. Mr. Fire, welcome me, Mr. Gecko. Hello. Howdy. Oh my god, thank you for the lurk, Mr. Gecko. Hope you enjoy reading stream. I'm not that excited for reading stream most of the time, but I know that I gotta force myself to read book because it's been years I haven't finished reading any books because I have no focus. But yeah, I'm trying to get myself going, like reading like a few chapter like every week. So hope you everyone enjoyed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She took longer look at Loken diagram. Would this make the artificial gravity in the crew area upside down? And she was right. The Hail Mary was designed so the down was toward the engine. As the ship accelerates, the crew is pushed down to the floor, but inside the centrifuge, down is always away from the center of the rotation. So the crew would always be pushed toward the nose of the ship. Yes, that would be a problem. Lokan pointed to the diagram. The cable did not pass directly to the crew compartment. They attached to large discs on the either side. The cabling attached to this big hinge. The whole front half of the ship can rotate 180 degree. So when they're in the centrifuge mode, the nose will face inward toward the other half on the ship. Inside the crew compartment, the force of gravity will be away from the nose. Same as when the engine are thrusting. Start took Start took it in. Start took it in. This is fairly complicated piece machinery. You'd be breaking the ship into two parts. You honestly think this is less of risk? Less of risk than using brand new, insufficiently tested equipment. Trust me. I use sensitivity equipment most of my career. I said, it's finicky, delicate even in ideal condition. Start picking up her pen, tapping it on the table several times. Okay, we do it. Logan smiled. Excellent. I'll read up a paper, send it along to the UN. We can form a committee. Committee, I think. No, I said we'll do it. Start to look up. You with us now, Dr. Logan. Bag a bag Minas Geneva Airport, Terminal 3, private plane called short. What? I work for ESA. I can just. You don't bother, I said. She going to call your boss or your boss or whatever have you saying her you're just gonna get drafted. I wasn't volunteering to design it personally. Logan protested. I only mean to point out. I never said you volunteer, Sarge said. It's not voluntary at all. You can't just force my work to you? But Strut was already walking off the room. Meet us at the airport. Meet us at the airport in 1 hour, or I'll have the Swiss oh, this is such a complicated thing. I'll have the Swiss gendarmerie drag you there in 2 hours. Your call. Logan started at the door, flabbergasted, and back to me. You get used to it, I said. I enjoy that. I enjoy that's really funny. This like they just like they just start to have so much power. The ship is centrifuge. I remember it now. This is what their meters area called cable fairing. This is where the spool and Xylem cable are. The ship can break in half, turn the crew compartment around and spin. Are you saying like are you saying like the inside just spin? I don't fucking get it. Like they keep talking about centrifuge. Is centrifuge an actual thing? That's the fucking thing. I don't fucking know. The turning around part is the weirdest ring I saw on the whole during my EVA. I remember the design now. It has two big hinge on it, allowing the crew compartment to turn around before the centrifuge is activated. It's strongly reminiscent of Apollo spacecraft. The lunar lander was attached below the command module at launch, but they separate, turn the command module around, and reconnect with the lander during the trip to the moon. It's one of those things that look ridiculous but end up being the most effective way to solve a problem. I float back up to the cockpit and flip through the screen on the various console. As which one fails to be what I want, I move to the next. Finally, I find it. The centrifuge screen. It was hiding out as a sub panel in the life support screen. It looks simple enough. There are yawn, pitch, and roll readouts showing the current state of the ship, just like the navigation panel has. A spirit readout is labeled crew compartment angles, and that has must been turning around bit each 130 degree per second. Below those is a button labeled engage centrifuge sequence. Underneath that are a bunch of numbers related to rotational acceleration rate, final speed, spooling rates, estimated g-force at the floor of the lab, four different screen of for spool status. I guess there are four spool. Sorry, I burped. Two on each side, which emergency protocol to follow their problem. And a lot of more stuff I won't pretend to understand. The important thing, all those read out have value already in them. Got to love computer. They all the thinking for you so you don't have to. I do take a closer look at the emergency protocol mode. I just read spin down. I tap the read out and drop down appear. Look like my option are spin down, hold a spool, and one is read labeled separate. I'm pretty sure I don't want to do that. I suspect spin down will slowly decelerate the ship spin if there are a problem. Sounds good. I'll leave it set to that. I'm about to engage to the centrifuge, but then I pause. Is everything tied down? Is it safely to suddenly have a bunch of force acting on the ship? I shake it off. The ship was accelerating constantly for several years. Has to be comfortable with a little centrifuge action, right? Right? As 100 astronauts have done before, I place my fate and my life in the hand of the engineer who designed the system. Dr. Loken, I guess. Hope she did her job. I pushed the button. First, nothing happened. I wonder if I even pressed it right, or if I just fumbled at the screen like I have so many times on my phone in the past. But then the alert chimes throughout the ship. The pers- the piercing triple beep repeat every few seconds. There is no way for a crew member to miss a signal like that. A final warning, I guess, in case the crew had failure to communicate. Over my head, the petroscope screen changed to lockout mode. That confirmed my earlier suspicion that the ship maneuvering engine are astrophage based. I mean, it's kind of obvious when you think about it, but I wasn't sure until now. The beeping stopped and nothing really happened. Then I noticed that I'm closer to the nav panel than I was before. I drifted to the edge of the room. I put my arm out to steady myself and get back to normal. And then I drift toward the nav panel again. Oh, I said. It began. I'm not drifting toward the nav panel. The whole cockpit is drifting toward me. The ship is starting to spin. Everything veers off and changed direction. That be because of the ship spin, the crew compartment is also turning around. This could get complicated. Right. I kick off the wall and into the pilot's seat. I tilt, or rather, the room tilt. No, that doesn't make sense. Nothing tilt. The ship is spinning around faster and faster. It also accelerating the acceleration. And also, the front half of the ship has detached from the rear. And it's rotating around those two big hinge. When it's done, the news will be pointed in toward the rear of the half of the ship. All of this is going on at the same time. So the first I'm feeling are really weird, extremely complicated stuff, but also not my problem. It's up to the computer to deal with. I watched the centrifuge panel. The pitch rate read 0.17 degree per second. Another readout labeled component separation. Read 2.4 meters. There a little beep and the crew compartment angles readout blink. It show 180 degree. I assume this whole sequence was worked out well in advance to minimize the shock to the system and or crew. I feel a slight pressure on my butt as the seat pushes up against me. The transition is very smooth. I just experience more and more gravity in what I feel like a tilting room. It's a weird sensation. I know, logically, that I'm in the ship spinning around, but there are no window to see out of. On the screen, I check the telecom screen that's still pointed at the bleep A. The star in the background do not move, it counting for my rotation somehow and canceling it. That's a bit of software was probably tricky. considering the camera probably isn't the exact center of rotation. My arm grow heavy, so I put them on the armrest. I have to start using my neck muscle again for the first time in a while. First minute after the sequence began, I experienced a little less than normal Earth gravity. A quadruple beep announced the end of the sequence. I checked the centrifuge screen and saw a pitch rate of 20.71 degree per second. Its total aspiration of 104 meters and lap gravity of 1 gram. The diagram of the ship showed the Hail Mary split in two pieces. The nose of the crew compartment pointed inward toward the other half. The two halves are comically fall apart, and the entire system spins slowly. Well, actually, pretty fast, but it looks slow at the scale. I unstrapped from the chair, walked to the airlock, and opened the hatch. The smell of ammonia drifted into the cockpit again, but not nearly as bad as before. The alien artifact lies on the floor. I give it a quick touch with my fingers to gauge the temperature. It's still pretty warm, but no longer scalding hot. Good, there are no internal heater or weird stuff like that. I just started out really hot. I pick it up. Time to see what this thing is made of and what's inside. Before leaving the cockpit, I take one last look at the telescope screen. I don't know why, I guess. I just like to keep track of what extraterrestrial ship in my vicinity are up to. The bleep A spin in space. It rotates end and over end, probably the exact same rate as the Hail Mary. I guess they saw me spin up the centrifuge and figured it was another communication thing. Humanity first miscommunication with an intelligent alien race. Glad I could be part of it. I set the cylinder on the lab table. Where do I begin? Everywhere. I check to see with radioactive with Geiger counter. It's not that nice. I poked it with various things to get feel for it hardness. It hard, rock hard, baby. It look like metal, but doesn't feel quite like metal. I use a multimeter to see if it's conductive. It isn't. Interesting. I get a hammer and chisel. I want a small chip of the cylinder material of the gas chemotherapy. That way, I know what element it's made of. After a few smack with the hammer, the chisel chips. The cylinder isn't even dented. The cylinder is too big to put it in the gas chromatograph, but I find a handheld X-ray spectrometer. It looks like an UPC scanner gun, easy enough to use, and it gives me some idea of what this thing is made of. It's not accurate as the chromatograph, but better than nothing. After a quick scan, it tells me the cylinder is made of xenon. Huh? I use the spectrometer on the steel table to make sure it's working correctly. It's report iron, nickels, chromium, and so on. Just what it should see. So I check the cylinder again, get the same wacky result as it with my first test. I tested four more times, but keep getting the same answer. Why did iron to taste so many times? Because those results make no sense at all. Xenon is a noble gas. It doesn't react with anything. It doesn't form bond with anything. And it's a gas room temperature. But somehow it's part of this solid metal? And no, it's not cylinder filled with xenon or anything like that. A spectrometer is not deep, penetrating scan. It can only tell you what's on the surface. If I pointed it gold plated nickels, it would say 100% gold, but that's all it can see. It can only tell me what the molecule on the surface of the cylinder are made of. Apparently, they are made of xenon. This handheld spectrometer can detect element lower than aluminum, so there could be carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, whatever is lurking in there too. But as for element within detector range, I'm looking at porcelain. Oh! I plop down onto the stool, stare at the cylinder. What the strange artifact? What do I even call a noble gases that react things? Ignobles? But being flummoxed has one good side effect. It make me stop frenzied attack on the cylinders and just look at it. For the first time I see that there is a thin line running around the circumference about an inch from the top. I feel it with my fingernail. Sorry, I burp. It definitely an indentation of some kind. Is that a lid? Maybe just open. I pick up the cylinders and try to pull off the top. It doesn't budge. On a whim, I try to unscrew it. It also doesn't budge. But there's no reason alien would follow the righty tidy lefty loosey rule, is there? I turn the lid to the right and it's rotate. My heart skip a bit. I keep turning. After 90 degrees, I feel it release. I pull the two chunk apart. Both halves have complicated stuff going inside. They look like model of some kind. They both feature whisker thin poles sticking up to their base, leading to spears of various size. I don't see any moving part. Everything appeared to be made of the same weird material as the case. I check out the bottom half first. Have to start somewhere. A single whisker hold up an abstract sculpture in a marble-sized spear and BB-sized spear, each held in place by a thinner whisker branching off the main vertical trunk. There also an oddly parabolic shape connecting to the top of the two spear. This whole thing looked familiar to me. Why? Petrovaline! I blurt out. I seen the art shape enough time in my heart races. I point the large spear. So you must be the star, and the little guy must be the planet. The alien are aware of astrophage, or at least they are aware of Petrovaline, but doesn't really tell me anything. They're in an astrophage power ship. Of course they know about astrophage, and we're chatting in solar system that has a petrovaline, so that's not surprising either. This might be their home system for all I know. This is a good start though. We were talking by flashing our engine, so they know I use astrophage and that I can see with help from the ship. The Petrova frequency. From that, they concluded I must have be able to see the Petrova line. There's more. I look at the other half of the doohickey. Dozen of whisker rise from the base. They're all different length, and each one end in spear less than millimeter across. I poke a whisker with my fingers, and it doesn't bend. I press harder and harder. Eventually, the whole doohickey slide on the table. Those whiskers are stronger than anything than tin should be. I guess sand make pretty strong material when you get it to react with thing. It infuriates me my tender scientist's heart. I try to put it out of my head and get back to the task at hand. I count 31 whiskers, each with little spears at the end. While counting, I spot something special. There one whisker sticking up the exact center of the disc, but unlike the others, it's not connected to the spear. I squint to get a good look. Instead of single spear, it's two spear in different size and arch. Okay, I see. It's a very small replica of the Petrovaline model on the other half of doohickey. I still doesn't understand what doohickey fucking mean. Maybe 120 the scale. And the little Petrovaline model has an even thinner whisker connecting it to another spear at the tip of different whiskers. No, not quite spear. It's another Petrovaline model. I scoured the rest of the doohickey for any more of them, but I don't see any. Just the one in the middle and the one off to the side. Wait a minute. I pulled the drawer that has the lab computer panel in it, time to make use of that virtually infinite reference material. I find a huge spreadsheet with the information I need, bring it into the Excel, start love well tested off the cell product, and do a bunch of operation on it. Soon I have a data plot I wanted and it matches. Stars, the little spears on the end of the whisker are a star. Of course they are. What else would have a petrol line? They're not just any old star. These are specific star. They are in the correct relative position to one another with Tau Ceti right in the center. The map point of view is kind of odd to make the spear match my data plot of the star location. I have to hold the doohickey at 30-degree angles and kind of rotate it around a bit. But of course, all of Earth data is based on Earth orbital plane being the reference point. People from a different planet would have different coordinate system, but no matter you look at it, the end result is the same. The doohickey is a map of the local star. Then I suddenly very interested in the little filament connecting to the center spear. How Seti to another spear. I check the corresponding star in my catalog. It called 40 Eridani, but I bet the crew of the Bleep A call it home. That's the message. We're from the 40 Eridani system, and now we're here at Tau City. But they're even more to it than that. They're also saying 40 Eridani has petrol line, just like Tau City. I stopped to let that sink in. Are you in the same boat? I say. Of course they are. Astrophage is getting all the local star. These people are from a planet orbiting 40 Eridani, and 40 Eridani is infected just like Earth Sun. They have some pretty good science going on, so they did the same thing we did. Make a ship, go to Tausari to see why it's not dying. Holy cow, I say. Yes, I'm jumping out to a conclusion here. Maybe they harvest astrophage for their petrol line and consider it a boon. Maybe they invented astrophysics. Maybe they just think petrovolines are pre. There are a bunch of different things this could mean, but the most likely, in my admittable bastard opinion, is that they're here to find a solution. Aliens, actual alien from the 40 Eridani system. So I guess that make them Eridanians. Hard to say, even harder to remember. Eridans. Oh, no, but Eridians sound kind of like iridium, but which is more of the cooler sounding element of the periodic table. Yeah, I'm going to call them iridians, and I think it's pretty obvious how I should respond. I thoroughly searched the lab a few days ago. There's an electronic kit in one of the drawers. The trick is remembering which one. I don't remember, of course. It take me a while to search and not quite swearing while I do, but I eventually find it, and I don't have any cyanide. That's why I'm calling this weird alien compound, and no one can stop me. But I do have a solder and soldering iron. I break off a little piece of solder, melt one end, and stick it to the Tausadi spear. It stick pretty well, which is really. You never know with Xenonite. I check, double check, triple check to make sure I correctly identify which one of the little star of the model in Soul Earth Sun. I soldered the other side of the wire to Sol. I searched the lab until I found some hard paraffin with some poking up on the flame and mild swearing. I'm able to make a really poor approximation of the petrol line icon they sent me. I smushed it into soul of the model. It's look alright, at least good enough that they should get the idea. I take a look. The sleek, thin lines, the Xenonite whisker, are ruined by my crooked blob and the solder. Addition, the crappy wax model. It's like someone adding a crayon drawing into the corner of the Da Vinci, but it will have to do. I tried to screw the top and bottom of the doohickey back together. They refuse to meet. I try again. It still doesn't work. It still doesn't work. I remember that Iridian used left-handed threading in the screw, so I do what to me is an unscrewing motion. The true piece connects perfectly. Time to throw it back to them politely. Except I can, not with the ship spinning around like this. I try to step out of the airlock. I go flying into space. I grab the doohickey and climb up to the control room. I strap myself into the chair and order the ship to spin down. Like last time, I feel the room tilt. I I this time it tilts the other way, and again, I know it's not actual tilting, it's my perception of the lateral acceleration being applied, but whatever. I feel the gravity decrease and the tilt of the room reduce until I'm back in 0 G again. This time there's no disorientation. I guess my lizard brain has made it peace with the fact that gravity comes and goes. The operation ends with the final clunk as the reoriented crew compartment sit into the rear half of the ship. I get back into the Eva suit, grab the doohickey, and head out into the space once more. I don't need to work my way across to the hull with tethers this time. I just clip my tether into the airlock. The bleep A has stopped spinning. Probably did it when the Hail Mary stopped. It's still 217 meters away. I don't have to be Joe Montana to make this pass. I just need to set the doohickey in motion toward the bleep A. It's over 100 meters across. I should be able to hit it. I give the doohickey a shove. It flowed away from me at a reasonable speed, maybe 2 meters per second. Roughly a jogging pace. There we go. This is a communication of a sort too. I'm telling my new friend that I can handle slightly faster delivery. The doohickey float off toward the Iridian ship and head back into mine. Okay, guys, I say, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. If Astroface is your enemy, I'm your friend. I watch the telescope screen. Occasionally, I look away. Sometimes I play Klondike Solitaire on the left panel, but I never go more than a few seconds without checking the telescope. A thick pair glove harvested from the lab earlier tries to float away. I grab them and wedge them behind the pilot's seat. It's been 2 hours, and my alien friend haven't had anything to say. Are they waiting for me to say something else? I just told them what star I was from. Is their turn to say something, right? Do they even have a concept of taking turn, or is that purely human thing? What if Iridian have a lifespan of 2 million years and waiting century or two replies called impolite? How am I going to get rid of this red 7 on the right moss pile? I don't have any black 8S in my deck, and movement. I spin to the telescope screen so fast my leg floated out into the middle of the control room. There's another cylinder coming my way. I guess the many arm hole robot thing threw it just a moment ago. I checked the rudder screen. Bleep B is plugging along at over a meter per second. I only I only have few minutes to suit up. I get back into the Eva suit and cycle to the airlock. Once I open the outer door, I spot the cylinder tumbling end over end. Might be the same one as before, might be new, and this time it's headed straight for the airlock. I guess they saw that's where I exit and I re-enter the ship, decide to make things easier for me. Very considerate of them. They accurate too. A minute later, a cylinder flowed out right through the center of the open hatchway. I catch it. I wave to the bleep A and close the hatch. They probably don't know what a wave is, but I feel compelled to do it. I return to the control room and wriggle out of the Eva suit, leaving the cylinder to float near airlock. The ammonia smell is powerful, but this time I'm ready for it. I put the thick lap glove on and grab the cylinders. Even through the fireproof glove, I can feel the warmth. I know I should wait for it to cool down, but I don't want to. It looked the same as before. I unscrewed the same left hand way. This time, there's no star map, instead, a model. What am I looking there? A single pause from the base hold up irregular shape. Irregular shape. No, no, two irregular shape connected by a tube. Hey, wait, one of the shape is the Hail Mary, and the other one is the Bleep A. The model have no detail or texture, but they're good enough for me to recognize what they represent. So they did their job. The Hail Mary is only 3 inch long, while the Bleep A is closer to 8 inches. Man, that ship is huge. It's huge. And that tube connecting to them, it connected to the Hail Mary airlock and led to the center of the Bleep A diamond shaped segment. The tunnel is just wide enough to cover the airlock door. They want to meet. Capture 9. Okay, I think that's all for now. Amaze, amaze, amaze. I'm just excited that we are finally meeting Rocky is like one of the reason why I'm like wanting to read the book really badly, because like I would like to discover more interaction between Grace and Rocky. And I'm just like I want to know more about what happened on the book. And turn out they do like have a lot more stuff. They talk more about the centrifuge, the book stuff, and like in the I don't think they talk about centrifuge in the movie, but I completely forgotten. But it's right in detail way, and I feel like anyone not. I feel like in the movie nobody not ties like how infamous Grace are, but in here like he does. Like, oh shit, you're that ass guy that keep fucking arguing about me about like fucking space and shit. Oh, I'm gonna fucking like hand in hand in you. Very interesting book. And one of the things that I do not reading, but thank you everyone for being here. I don't know what's to read, but let me see if I see any queer. I would like to read more queer this This one particularly because I love queer people. Let me see. Oh, there's pansexual people reading Wednesday 5K. I'm looking. This is a frog prince. They're very cute. Okay, we're gonna read queer people, and you guys just gotta say Happy Pride Man. If you guys can copy Happy Pride Man and say wish them Happy Pride Man, that would be really stinking nice. Oh, they even have queer of like and everything. They're so cute. But anyway, amazing. Thank you everyone for being here. We all do amazing. I hope you guys enjoy today's stream. Not pretty much. Boom. Happy Pride Man. But thank you everyone for being here. I shall see you guys next time to read more. Tomorrow is art stream, so definitely gonna draw something. But yes, hydrate. Everyone hydrate, and I'll see you guys next time. Love you guys. Bye bye. Amaze.